Okay, so Rick, you're out here living at Sunset Park in Las Vegas, Nevada, and you're homeless.
Yep.
Tell me about it.
I was a 20-year workaholic. Worked from probably 6 in the morning to 12, sometimes at night. A lot of birthdays, a lot of holidays missed. Have a 17-year marriage that we got divorced amicably and didn't mess our kids up as little as possible through that. And I met the next person in my life. I fell head over heels, and 4.5 years after the happiest years of my life, something went wrong and I couldn't fix it. And I knew I was losing something, the best thing I ever had, and I couldn't fix it. I just couldn't. Nothing I could do was right. And I just kind of gave up about caring about anything six years ago. It took me like a couple years to even just allow myself to stop, to heal. I'd say, how come every time I see this girl, she keeps hurting me? Finally, I figured out it's because I let her. Once I figured that out, and I, kept distance then and allowed myself to heal. Now I'm on a different path a little bit, trying to, get things back. It's very hard to get things back. It's very easy to lose everything and very hard to get anything back,
Yeah. What's the path you're on now?
I'm trying to get, I'm in contact with my family for the first time in 4 years. I was at Catholic Charities for like 3 weeks. Problem is I couldn't be in the program because I have a bad back, and so I kind of was just in limbo there. I went to the hospital 3 weeks ago and saw my oldest son. Had every right to be mad at me. He hadn't seen me 4 years. And he gave me a hug, and he was happy. He was happy to see me. He's 21 years old. And he told me, "Hey, Dad, I remember all the things you taught me growing up, and I live by those things, Dad. And good things come to me for it." And that's not what I expected to hear from my son after 4 years,
Yeah.
And some things are going wrong in that department that I really need to try to do something to make something happen. But I just found out today. So.
Oh, you just found out today?
Yeah.
So you said you had a rough relationship.
Yeah, after I got divorced, like I said, that was very amicable. But like I said, I met the next person, and it was just, like I said, I kind of just let myself go, and I figured I was 37 years old. At 37 years old, I figured, maybe it was time for, I've had a rough life, here and there, and some bad things go on, like everybody does, but I just figured maybe it was my time, pain was over, and I was just going to be happy the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I planned everything with her in my future. My kids are supposed to grow up and move away, you know what I mean?
Yeah. How many kids do you have?
2.
Okay.
My oldest, like I said, is 21, and my youngest turned 15 last Friday.
Okay. Do you have any contact with him?
Yeah, like I said, I contacted him. I got cellulosis 3 weeks ago in my leg, really bad, and ended up not being able to take care of myself, and finally made contact with my family. I can't take care of myself anymore because I couldn't even walk. And then my son came to the hospital to see me and put me on FaceTime with my younger son. He was walking dogs and making money and stuff.
Yeah. So after that difficult breakup, how did you end up on the streets? Did you lose a job, or what happened?
We both kind of lost our job in that whole thing. It was just whirlwind of just stuff going wrong,
Yeah.
And like I said, that was the biggest deal to me ever. That was the biggest catastrophe. I lost my dad a few years before that, and that really has messed me up too. And just kind of a montage of crap,
I see.
And you could just stop caring real quick.
Okay.
I had chances to sleep in houses and stuff, and I would sleep out in the sheds and back just because I felt I wasn't good enough to sleep in the house because I messed my relationship up somehow. It took me a long time to get back to where I just feel like maybe I'm repairable. That's maybe.
So how do you survive out here?
Hustle. I find stuff. People throw away some crazy things. You find out when you come out here. It's amazing what you can find, and I made some decent money off of that. I also paid into the system for 20 years. Like I said, so I get EBT for helping me with food and this and that.
Okay.
And I paid into for 20 years, so I feel like
Okay.
I might still have a small retirement left, so kind of trying to hold on to that as long as possible before touching it.
Good. If you could make 3 changes to your life, what would those 3 changes be?
Now?
Now.
All 3 of them would be personal repair through my heart or my inside. Like I just feel like I'm never gonna be right again. Like I was wrecked, you know, and I just can't get the dents out of that car, make it look like it used to look, you know, or be what it used to be. And you know, it was hard enough being out here on that, and on top of that, with a lot of the stuff that goes on out here, it's an extra load on top of the sadness I felt at the time, you know?
Yes.
Because we were on the streets and we finally parted ways totally. And now you're just wandering out there alone and tripping, and then you got people messing with you on top of that, stealing from you. You know how it goes.
Okay.
You get a lot of people all day. Misery loves company out here. Unfortunately, so people that are miserable try to go around and ruin everybody else's, you know, try to make them miserable too.
So do you wish you could go back in time and things would be the way they used to be before?
I'm not that kind of a thinker. I'm proud of my oldest son. You know, I never thought I would ever be away from him. But when he was a little kid and he was growing up, my oldest one, and I was traveling for work, I'll tell him, you're the head of the house. You know, when I'm gone, you take care of your mother, you take care of your brother, you look out, and I'm gonna check with you when I get back. You know, and I held him to it. Never, just for no reason. And then one day I'm not in his life, and he did everything I taught him to do. And I thought back on that, and I said, man, you know, that's crazy, because I never even considered a day in my life I'd be without my kids. A day in my life. But at some point, you have to make the decision. You want your kids growing up and seeing their dad half crazy because he's messed up in the head? Or do you want them to remember what their dad was, you know? So I'd rather them remember me and not see me when I was at my worst, because it was really bad. You know, I love my kids with all my heart. And after a few years out in the street, seeing all the crap that's going on, I was like, you know, I'm out in the streets, and I'm not trying to say I'm better than anybody. I'm just saying the way I feel about about things is, you can be out in the streets and you don't have to be in the gutter. You don't have to be a, you know, complete scumbag just because you're in the street, you know? I just felt like there was a lot of people crawling around with the roaches when all they had to do was stand up and be giants, be different. I mean, I have my problems and I have my addictions and stuff, but I still try to maintain some bit of the person I am.
Civility.
Okay. Absolutely. Because I mean, stuff is stuff. You know. I mean, you know, you can't call stuff up and say, man, I'm in a jam. You know. You know what I mean? So if people wanted something, I'd give it to them, because even though I didn't deserve it, I've been blessed out here. I don't know why, but my dad was a Baptist preacher before he died, and in the Bible, this rich man, you know, wanted to follow Jesus, and Jesus told him, sell everything you own, give away everything you own, take up your cross and follow me. I said, why does he want us to be poor? And I figured it out when I was on the street. He didn't want us to be poor. He wanted you to give everything away, so at that point in your life where you had no ability to feed yourself or clothe yourself, you knew there was something greater than you looking out for you. And you can't deny that. I can't deny that. I can't deny it at all. The fact that I even talk about it, because I was very indoctrinated in church when I was young, and did like an amazing amount of church from the time I was born till I was 18. So when I left church, I was done with that. But I find myself out here talking about God after losing everything, or my Creator after losing everything, because I gotta say, something's greater than me out here, than it looks out for me. So.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Rick, for talking to me.
Sure.